Welcome to the Lancashire Lad podcast.
Welcome to the Lancashire Lad podcast, and this week, what an absolute privilege. I'm up in Manchester with the one and only Mr. Ricky Hatton, MBE. Ricky, how are you?
Yeah, great. Good to see you.
Yeah, it's great to see you. Thank you for inviting us into your lovely home. We're in the games room. It's quite intimidating here. Everywhere you look, there's some amazing people on the wall. And over my shoulder, there's Iron Mike Tyson.
Yeah, watching here.
Yeah, what's Mike like?
He's sound, Mike. To be honest with you, he seems to be in a not nicer place. Needless to say, he's had his moments over the years. I think that would be an understatement, wouldn't it? But I mean, he seems to be in a happier place now. And yeah, by every time I've come across him, which I'm very proud to say has been a good few times, he's been nothing but a gentleman to me.
Well, that's good to hear. I read his book, and it was a bit like, I don't know what to make of him, but obviously in person, if he's a gent and stuff, I guess that's what counts.
Yeah, we're getting a little bit old and wise, and that we are. And now, you can't go around biting people's ears forever, can you? Do you know what I mean? So no. Every time I've been in his company, is brilliant. When people like that, who your heroes, who you've looked up to for years, the fact that they actually know your name makes you feel chuffed. Yeah.
Ah, cool. So let's talk about who are your heroes. Obviously when you got into the boxing game at a young age, who did you look up to? Who was the people that inspired you?
Well, I first got into boxing. I did kickboxing first because I used to watch all the Bruce Lee films. So I went to the kickboxing club, and I've always been a little short ass. So the kicking, I was never no good at the kicking because my legs were always so short. But the kickboxing coach could see that I had a talent with my fists, and he said, "Listen, Ricky," he said, maybe you should give the boxing a go. Maybe that would be for you. So then I went over and tried the boxing and just loved it straight away. So then I started watching fights on the TV, and the first one that really got me excited about boxing was Nigel Benn. He was massively excited, dead aggressive, always went for the knockout. And then as I got more and more into the game, I started watching the old videos of fighters of old, and stuff like that. But Roberto Duran become time hero, and very proud to say, he's on speed dial, Roberto.
Is he? Yeah.
I've met him a few times. I went to a WBA convention in Panama, and he phoned me, picked me up curbside. I mean, I don't know who your hero is, but imagine picking you up curbside at the airport. It was something else. So I know I worked hard for what I've got, but I always feel blessed when I've come across people like Mike and Roberto Duran and all them, and the fact that they know me. Something as a council estate lad, I don't never get my head around.
Yeah, no, it must be pretty crazy. Do you think the kickboxing might have actually aided your development as a boxer with the footwork being first and then obviously going into that?
No, it made it worse.
Did it?
Yeah, for me, to be honest with you. Because kickboxers tend to go very square on.
Right, okay.
Square on, so they can kick with the right leg and kick with the left leg, where boxers, you're shown to be side on, so it took me forever and a day to get out on and get my shoulder round and get more side on. But I mean, it's just TV problems that last forever.
It's funny that you said obviously Roberto Duran and Nigel Benn. When they fought, it was always a fight, wasn't it? They never ran away from it or were technical, and it's probably similar to what your fighting style was in a lot of ways. Would you agree with that in that sense? That
yeah, very much so. I mean, to be honest with you, once you get on that world level, you can be aggressive, but you've got to have a little bit more about you, between the ears and that. Otherwise, you're not just going to get it on being aggressive and being strong. You've got to have a little bit of, game plan and knowledge, boxing brain between your ears, and be able to, your coach gives you advice, take it on board and then apply it. So there's a lot, especially certainly when you get up to world level, because once you get up to world level, you're always going to meet someone stronger than you, just as strong, just as fit, and so you've got to have that extra bit of it, that extra ingredient, I guess. So, but no, I think I'm an admirer of all styles, Muhammad Ali, Sugar Ray Leonard, your boxer mover types, but I personally, it was the aggressive ones for me.
They've got you, yeah.
Chavez, Mike Tyson,
Yeah.
Roberto Duran, Tommy Hearns, Hagler, that, Cesar Chavez, the ones that give you value for money.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's talk about Kostya Tszyu, because obviously back in 2005, yeah, that's correct. 2005, your name was out there massively at that time anyway. But obviously that fight was where you arrived, really, where the eyes were drawn straight to you. What was it like going into that fight? Because you were the underdog in that fight with the bookies. Maybe not in your head, but with the bookies you were. What was that? What was it like leading up to that fight? And was your like mindset? I'm winning this, hands down.
No, it was the one the game. The fight I always dreamed of getting. I mean, you can be a world champion, which is a wonderful, it goes without saying, an amazing thing to have achieved. But you can have 5 world champions in one weight division.
Yeah.
You got you got the WBC, the WBA, the IBF, the WBO, the
Yeah,
IBO, the WBU. You know what I mean? So you can be a world champion, but it still doesn't mean you're the number one in your weight division.
Yeah.
And when I first started boxing, I wanted to be a world champion, but I wanted to be the best on the planet at my weight. And Kostya Tszyu had all the belts. You know what I mean? So it's very rare. You get
an opportunity like that. Yeah.
And if you win it, it will go down as one of the greatest wins in a British boxing ring, and that's where it still did today. Did it in my hometown in Manchester.
Yeah.
2 o'clock in the morning in front of all my fans, and I think Kostya Tszyu was number 2 ranked pound for pound.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
In any weight division. So when a Brit or gets matched against a fighter with that sort of stature, it's a massive thing. But for Manchester to have one, come to Manchester to our backyard and fight one of their own. The atmosphere that night, it was just unbelievable because I was so well loved.
Yeah, yeah.
And I was an underdog. You could hear, they could hear the fans, the confidence, to get behind me. But there was a nervous tension in the air because I think everyone thought he could get ginned here, Mick. Against this fella because he was such a big puncher. But no, it's just the way the victory was. You know what I mean? To have a champion like that.
I watched it last night just to refresh my memory.
For a champion such as Kostya Tszyu to sort of like quit on his stool and say no more. Leave me alone.
Because you didn't leave him alone for a single second, did you? It was literally a full-on assault from round 1. I watched it last night before I went to bed, and hell, I didn't know where he was half the time in that fight. You just didn't give him a minute to breathe.
No, well, if I give him a minute to breathe, where he could stand off and line me up, for his big right hand and a murderous right hand. So I thought to myself, if there's closer I stayed to him, he can't get his right hand in, which was his honey punch, and that right hand was the one he was knocking everyone out with. You know what I mean? So I thought, me and Billy were like, you need to move in on him quick and get on his chest where he can't, because I mean, if you're on the end of that left hand, he's going to, line you up and get up the perfect leverage on that. But so if you're on his chest, he can't get it in, which is very, very dangerous tactics when you're such a big puncher because getting on his chest. You're like going over no man's land. You know what I mean? It's like dangerous tactics, but they proved to be the right ones.
Yeah, it was incredible, and he definitely quit on his stool, and it wasn't his corner. It was him that stopped.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. You touched about your fans, and obviously you said you were very well loved. But I think that's an understatement. If I'm honest, in my life, I'm 38, and I think the support you had was pretty much unright. I think you could possibly put Frank Bruno in that category with being loved by the fans, but yours was something to be seen, especially when you went across the pond and the fans followed. How did it make you feel having that support, and why do you think you got that support?
Well, when I started having my fights in America, my first fight in Vegas, I mean, the record for Brits going over to to Las Vegas to watch a Brit was 10,000, and that was when Frank Bruno fought Mike Tyson. And for my first fight against Juan Urango, we went over and there was 8,000 for the Juan Urango one. And then for the Castillo one, there was 15,000, which beat Frank's record. And then for the Mayweather one, 40,000.
How does it make you feel?
40,000 don't go to the World Cup.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
exactly.
But that's to watch one man. That that's the record was 10 for Frank and Mike.
Yeah.
Mine was 40.
Yeah.
And then for the Man and Argy one, there was 15, and then for the Pacquiao one, there was 20.
Yeah.
It's just.
Why do you think it is though? Why? What do you think it is about you that appealed to the British public as much as it did?
Like a Manchester Scallywag, wasn't it? To be honest with you, I was an exciting fighter.
Yeah.
But I've always been just the lad.
Yeah.
Go to the pub, have a pint, watch Gold City, watch the match. Play darts for my local pub. I mean, now I even play still for the vets team. On the pub. I mean, life has changed for me, and I've got the things around me that I've got, but I haven't changed. And I think the fans could see that. You can't lie to that. They say, listen, we'll go and watch that Ricky Hatton all day long. What a good lad, down to earth, no airs of graces, doesn't boast about himself. He's just like us. He's one of us, isn't he? Yeah. And that's true. I think and that's why people like me.
I think it is. I think there's nothing better than someone who's watching someone in sport or music when you can relate to them as a person, and you think he's just like one of us. And I think that's what you did so well, and it was natural.
Yeah, and I think that's but some people like the fans felt or think about me is a massive thing. I mean, to be honest, unlike that other dickhead Mayweather, who calls himself Money Mayweather, and he's fighting that Jake Paul now, that YouTuber.
Yeah.
That's going to be the biggest watched fight in history. You know what I mean? And he's a YouTuber.
Yeah.
I think to myself, where I used to. Floyd wasn't bothered about how good he performed or anything like that, as long as he got paid. It meant a lot to me when the fans paid money to go and watch me fight in Las Vegas, where some people are still paying for paying that off. That holiday off. Now these days, I was always appreciative. I always wanted to entertain them, give them value for money, and that's why I think they like me.
Yeah, no, I'd agree. It's funny you should bring that up actually with Floyd and this Logan Paul. I mean, nothing surprises me as it probably won't you with Floyd, but I am. It's a bit of a weird step to take, this fight, isn't it? I mean,
I'm a little bit. A few years ago, in boxing terms, we said, "Oh, there's too many weight divisions now. There's too many versions of belts now." But I mean, look what's happened to the present game. Today, you've got, fights at catch weights. And then you've got MMA fighting boxers, and then you've got, one of the best fighters that's ever lived fighting a YouTuber. I'm very proud to say when I fought Floyd Mayweather, I earned my right to fight him. I beat Kostya Tszyu, then I beat Carlos Mauser, then I beat Louis Collazo, then I beat Juan Durango, who were all reigning world champions, and took belts off them. And then I beat Jose Luis Castillo. So that's why I got the shot at Floyd Mayweather. This dickhead's got it because he's got 72 million followers. It winds me up.
Yeah, no,
I mean, and he'll earn a fortune. It's just, I just think it's wrong. I mean, if he can get it, he's going to get it. But I just think I live by a different creed. I just
it's admirable.
I love my sport. I want to see people like this making a mockery of it.
Yeah,
I feel like knocking him out myself.
Just going back to that one you said about obviously Conor McGregor fighting Floyd. Did Floyd carry him for all them rounds? Did he allow him to do that?
I don't know. You never know. I think the only one that can answer that is Floyd, really. But I mean, it seems that when he did put his foot on the gas, he
didn't take long
got him out of there. But one thing you've got to give Conor McGregor is due. He's come in and fought the best. I know it's a fight. I know it's a fighting sport. MMA, of course it is. But he's come and fought arguably the greatest fighter of all time, and it's not even his sport.
Yeah,
it's not even his sport. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you look at it from that point of view, he did a good job.
Yeah,
I think.
No,
that's as good a job as he could do.
That's good to hear because obviously, as someone that doesn't box, I wouldn't know. I watch fights, but obviously, my judgment isn't going to be as accurate as yours. Does anything interest you along them lines with the YouTube lads? If one called you out, what would the answer be? Would it no?
I think if they call me out, a lot of the old champions are doing exhibition bouts, aren't they now? I mean, Mike Tyson did one with Roy Jones. If anyone come to me, because I'm pretty fit now, actually, to be honest with you. I mean, I train my boxers every day. I mean, my diet's still shit, but I mean, if one of them did come forward with an exhibition bout or anything like that, I'd just do what I used to do, go to a training camp,
So you would do it? You'd do
I
exhibition?
think I would go. I think it'd be
anyone?
No one in particular. You see so many that are having a go. I mean, and a lot of them are heroes of mine. I believe Chavez is having a go and Barrera is having a go. I'd love to have a go with someone, someone like that, because I've admired him for so many years. It'd be nice to just, even if it's, a competitive spar, exhibition, which is what it is, then nice to go in and just see, first hand just how good they were, someone like Barrera or someone like that.
That'd be great to see.
So, I mean, if one doesn't come, it doesn't come, but I mean, if it does, I'd certainly look at it, yeah.
You never know, one might be watching this. You never know. Just before we leave Floyd alone, obviously you fought Floyd. What was it like fighting him? Is he as good as everyone says? Was it tricky?
Every bit as good. I mean, I always go on about the referee. How he did a bad job. And I'm right. He was bobbing. Even American fight fans could see.
Joe Cortez, was it?
Yeah, something's not right here. You know what I mean? And I think that, if I did have a chance against him, that was the only chance I had, when if I could get close. I was never going to outspeed him. I was never going to outbox him. But if I did get close, I could maybe bully you and outwork you.
Yeah.
But I didn't really get the chance. I'm not saying I'd have won the fight anyway, because Floyd is what he is, and when you see what he's done since he's fought me, I mean? I give him the best. But I thought, I come back in the changing rooms, and obviously I was devastated. But I was sat down there and I thought to myself, referee. But I also thought to myself, by God, he was good.
Yeah, you did. So
just a significant difference to anyone else I fought.
Right.
But even people like that, if you get off to a good start, you have the right game plan. You know what I mean? Even the greats can get beat. So, and I thought I had the tools to do it if I was allowed to apply them.
So but you're not a fan of him in general, like as a person.
I don't know him. I can only see him from a distance, and from a distance, he looks a dickhead, doesn't he? But I mean, for all right, he might be might be a good guy. I mean, I don't know. It might all be all this what he does all for show. But I mean, knowing what I'm like, and what people know what I'm like, little Jack the Lad and everything like that, and I'm never going to be mates with someone who calls himself Money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's not going to be on the Christmas card list. It really is. But I mean, I think when I look round at the things that I've got, like, I've got a nice holiday home, and I've got a nice home here, I've got a lovely health and fitness centre down the road, and it's I'm giving him a bit of stick here, Floyd, but I do feel very, very blessed that I was born in the era of Floyd Mayweather. Because, I got the opportunity. I mean, I did well before the box, Floyd. Became a world champion, and I'd made a nice living for my family and stuff like that. But when I boxed Floyd, that was like the pinnacle of mine. And my family, my kids, my grandkids, their kids. I think that will always be appreciative that I was in the era of Floyd Mayweather. But listen, I deserve my shot.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, I remember the Castillo fight, that liver shot. I mean, good God, that would have dropped a donkey.
Well, if he'd have got up, I'd have got out.
I mean, did you know the minute you connected with that was it?
Yeah. You could tell, and it just the way not the way it landed, just the position I got into throw it. I got all my weight shifted. I got all my leverage, into it, and it was perfect, And it took him a while to get down. He ran across the ring, and then he went down, and but everyone turned around and said, because he's such a warrior, such a hard man, Castillo. Everyone turned around and said, he's past it. It's a little bit like that. The old Castillo wouldn't have gone down like that. And Bob Arum turned around and said to the fellow that was at the press conference who said it, he said, well, it just shows you what you know about boxing. He said, because, he's just been to the doctor, because of his sides, and Ricky has cracked 4 of his ribs. So, I think you, never mind whether you're past it or you're in your prime, I think you'd get down like that and stay down if you had 4 of your ribs cracked with one punch. because I thought to myself, when he went down, I thought, oh, he might not get up from this, but I thought, because it's him, Castillo, I thought, if anyone's going to get up, it's him, and he didn't.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, so that's why people were questioning Castillo's, ambition.
Yeah.
But when the X-ray was
It come out,
for him,
it's conclusive, isn't it?
him.
Yeah. No, brilliant. What was two of my favourite boxers, in my life is you and Manny Pacquiao. Just always love watching you both. Always exciting fights. Never run from anything. What was Manny like to fight, and what was he like as a person? Because he seems like a decent bloke as well.
Seemed a nice bloke, family man. You know what I mean? A good sense of humour. I mean, when we did the 24/7 program, where we went to in order to publicise it, we went to New York, went to Las Vegas, went to Los Angeles. Went to London, to Manchester, and it was funny enough. They did he's a big darts fan.
Is he?
Manny Pacquiao, and they said, "Oh, we'll bring him to your local pub on the council estate where I'm from. Hatters, they're called. They're doing, and we'll get him in the pub having him with all the customers. And you and him having a game of darts. It'll be great for the TV program." And he come in the pub, Manny Pacquiao, and he's like, there's old fellas in the corner playing dominoes, and, with fags on like that, playing cards, and they, because they're getting on a little bit. They had a clue that Manny Pacquiao was in the pub playing darts. They just didn't know what they.
Straight over the edge.
Yeah. But and I come over to him and I went, I'll get you some darts, Manny. He went, don't worry, I have brought my own weapons. I went, whoa, he's up for this one, the boy. But and I beat him actually 2-0 at darts. So I never beat him at fucking something.
What was he like to box? Obviously, it was.
I think I was past it at the time. I think I'd seen better years. When you think I had 43 fights, which is a lot.
Yeah.
As a professional. And when you fought like I fought, which was always on the front foot, 100 mile an hour, and
catches you up. Do you think?
Yeah. And even before the Kostya Tszyu fight, which seemed, I had 15 defences on the WBU title against like Vince Phillips, Ben Taki, Ray Oliveira, who were tough fights. And then when you look at them Kostya Tszyu, Carlos Mauser, Louis Calazo, Juan Urango, Castillo, Mayweather, Portman and RJ.
All big names.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? And then, so by the time I got, but I mean, he was bombing out everyone at the time. So even though I was devastated at being destroyed in 2 rounds, to be fair, he was doing it to everyone. And to be honest with you, until I made my comeback fight when I lost to Senchenko, which I come back for other reasons.
Yeah.
You'd probably say the only 2 that beat me, probably arguably 2 of the greatest of all time. So I can't.
It's not bad, is it, to look back on? You said Ben Taki before. Now, you probably won't know this, but I don't know if it was actually your first or not. When I lived in Tenerife, I came to the sportsman's dinner you did there with Paul Fitzpatrick. Yeah. I have to say thank you to Paul as well. And that was, I think it was one of the first times you'd done like the after dinner speaking. I don't know if it was the first time, but I thought it was. You told a funny story about Ben Taki. Do you remember it? About when you hit him and he was saying some obscenities back at you.
Oh, yeah. Well, I said to Billy Graham, I said, he'd gone the distance with Kostya Tszyu, who was the champion at the time, and he'd gone the distance with Champagne Mitchell. He was Kostya Tszyu and Champagne Mitchell were the number 1 and 2 in the division at the time. So I said, it'd be interesting when we go to the press conference to hear what he says about, because he's gone the distance with Kostya Tszyu, and he said, he'll have a job, he don't speak English. I went, well, so anyway, the fact, and he had such a hard chin, you know what I mean? I've never known, every time I hit him, he laughed at me, you know what I mean? Such a hard chin. He come at me around round 7, I hit him with about 8 shots, all on the chin, and then he looked at me and went, you pussy. And I thought, I couldn't speak English 2 minutes ago, eh? And then he kept going up to me, come on, you fucker, come on, you fucker. I thought, I couldn't speak English too, which was, it was funny, I thought, unless they're the only 2 English words he knew, but I mean, what a hard wire man. Didn't have the ability and didn't have the speed, that's why I was able to pick him off and outbox him and that, but as far as the chin.
Like granite.
Yeah, granite.
Yeah. Oh, brilliant. What would you say your favourite fight is? I know it's probably a silly question because you're probably going to say the obvious one, which is 2005. Is that the favourite fight?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say so. I mean, he was number 2 pound for pound, the best.
Who was number 1 at the time? Do you remember? I was struggling to try and work it out.
You know what? I'm saying number 8. It might have been him.
I think he was. I wouldn't be surprised if he was number 1 at the time, pound for pound.
Yeah, funny think like that. I can't think of anyone who was around that time. But I think it might have been him. But yeah, to me, to fight someone like that, and
yeah. Is there anyone you would have liked to have fought but didn't?
I'm very proud to say I pretty much fought near enough all of them, didn't I, to a degree. But I think if I was gonna, there was one that it got talked about a few times. I think was a Turo Gatti, because if Turo Gatti had beat Floyd, which obviously was a very tough ask, they were mentioning about me fighting him, and then obviously Floyd gave Turo a whooping, God rest his soul.
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was mentioning that, but I think me and Gatti, it couldn't have been anything more than an absolute bar and brawl, couldn't it? You know what I mean? But then another one was Mickey Ward, who was in.
Well, they had some fights, didn't they? Them two.
Fights, with Turo Gatti, because he was a scrapper and toe to toe body puncher like me. That would have been that one. And Miguel Cotto.
That's the one I was going to say.
I nearly boxed Miguel Cotto. He was mentioned a few times because he beat Paulie Malignaggi down at like welterweight, and he beat Paulie Malignaggi on points. But I think at the time he was struggling to make the weight. Right. So we're talking about me and him fighting, but he moved up a weight straight after. But I think if I'd have boxed him at 10 stone, and that was around the era when I just beat Kostya Tszyu, I think I'd have beat him. Right. I think it'd have been an unbelievable fight, but I think I'd have beat him at 10 stone. I mean, in fairness, Miguel Cotto has made his legacy, and his and I think he was a better fighter when he went up the weights. To be honest, because the light welterweight was killing him to make light welterweight, and if it was killing him to make light welterweight, the last thing he wanted me at the time all over him. So I think I'd like beat a swarm of bees. I think I'd have beat him, but he when he went up to welterweight, like middleweight, that's where he's shown his greatness. If you like, he was a great one.
Really no, absolutely. I was actually driving up with my friend Dean, and I was saying in the car that that's the fight I'd like to have seen happen. You know, which leads me on. Have you got any regrets in the game, or you seem pretty happy with everything? But is there any regrets?
No, I mean, I wanted to be a world champion. At the end of the day, and I won 4. You know what I mean? In 2 weight divisions, and got given an MBE because I mean I've always flew the flag, very proud of me roots. And it's like services to boxing, because I mean that's what I do. The money, not just what I did in the boxing ring, out of the boxing ring, I would always raise money for charities. I'd be patron of charities. I mean, I'm an ambassador now for mental health, and I've always been that way. Not just through my punches. Little things like that. And that's when when the Queen, you get something from the Queen. I always knew I'd have a chance to do well at boxing. But to get an MBE off the Queen, to go to Buckingham Palace and be given it by her, that's something I don't think.
Did she ask you any questions? Pardon? Did she ask you any questions, the Queen? Or
no,
was it just pretty much?
It was Prince Charles that actually gave it me. I mean, but to get it from the royal family, and he said it's fantastic. All the fans you took over, he said to me, we've never seen anybody take fans over like you. Flying the flag for us. He said you made us all so proud, Ricky.
Wow, it's pretty impressive, isn't it, to hear?
No, it was.
It
was.
Especially to see that someone like Charles has been watching.
I haven't got no regrets. I think maybe the only regrets is that I didn't chin Joe Cortez instead of Kostya Tszyu.
I think anyone watching this will quite happily agree with you that literally every time you got inside, he separated you. And I think everyone who knows anything about boxing,
he was good inside as well. Do you know what I mean? He didn't need any help.
He
didn't need helping. But I don't know. I think they thought, listen, we can't have him take all them belts back to Manchester, Las Vegas, and lose a fortune here.
Yeah.
And he's from Las Vegas as well.
Who, Joe Cortez?
Yeah, where Floyd's from. And I just, looking back now, I'll always be bitter about it. But I feel blessed that he gave me the opportunity to, because, you know, like I said earlier about what my family and
Yeah,
my
absolutely.
future family have been able to get. It's all because of me, because I think I worked hard and deserved it, but it's all because I was in the air of that, man.
Yeah. Well, no, your legacy is amazing, isn't it? Really, you know, you could the names you've boxed, the people you've been around.
Yeah.
You know, it's been crazy. Who was the biggest puncher that you ever fought?
Well, Manny Pacquiao was obviously you know, horrendous puncher in the way he knocked me out. But I think by that time, like I said earlier, there's a bit of wear and tear on me at the time. I mean, the punches that Kostya Tszyu was hitting me with, they just bounced off me. When I was younger, when I was fresher, but you know, bit by bit, you know,
you chip away at
yeah, your resistance goes over the years. When you see what he was doing to everyone, no, I mean, it was just a murderous puncher. But I mean, Kostya Tszyu was hurt me practically every time he threw one. But I mean, I was young, I was fresh. You know, I had a good
adrenaline
chin,
was probably
good chin
massive
back then. You know what I mean? And I could, you know, I could take it. And even though he hurt me, you know, I disguised it well. And to be honest with you, the punches that he was flattening everyone with wasn't moving me. And I think that had a little bit to do with why he quit on his stool. I think he thought, geez, what's wrong with this idiot?
It's good though, I guess, to win the psychological wars inside the ring where someone's hitting you and they're thinking, Christ almighty, he's not budging here. So maybe that was one of the reasons why he did.
It is, you know what I mean? You know, you keep it on, and it's not having the effect that you hope for. You know, it can be disheartening because it's, you know, it's not all about just, you know, the stronger man or who throws the most punches. It's, you know, it's a mind game in many ways, isn't it? You know what I mean? And all that, you know, beforehand, all the hype when you see them all calling each other and all that, you know, sometimes it works, you know what I mean?
No, definitely. Obviously, this year, or the last couple of months, we were all teased into thinking that the Tyson Fury Anthony Joshua fight was going to go ahead. You sat here with a Gypsy King T-shirt on, I think I know where your pin, you know, who your allegiance lies with. Do you think he beats him?
It's very hard to say, really, because I mean, I have a lot of admiration for AJ. I mean, Campbell is signed up with his managerial team 258, and they're doing a great job. And Anthony's took him under his wing a little bit. But Tyson's been my mate for forever and a day, so it'd be a sad one for me. But I feel like seeing two of your mates, if you like, not lumps out of each other. But I've known Tyson forever and a day. I've been there, not, you know, I mean, when I mean I've been there, I've actually saw it happen, the bad way he was in, how big and how heavy he was, and you know how he was suffering with his, you know, addiction problems and mental health and suicide attempts and everything like that. Because I've been there myself, but I got over my demons, and Tyson just
went into him,
starting him. So from a distance, I spoke to him about it, but I mean, from a distance, I could see, you know, this great man, former world champion, just crumbling before your eyes, and it was sad to see. So, but to see the man where he was to where he is today, not just as a fighter, but as a man. I personally, and I fought my demons, and I beat them. So, but it's very, very inspiring. I mean, you know, to just see it, and people say, "Well, Rick, that was you. That was you. So you're admiring Tyson. We admire you, Rick, because you did the same." And you know, and it's nice to see him come out the
other side,
the other side, and hopefully, like, he'll get this fight on with AJ. But I think we might lose it. I think it might not happen.
You think it won't happen? Can I push you for an answer who you think would win? Or
Tyson. I think Tyson. But I always fought Tyson, and I fought Tyson by obviously AJ got beat by Ruiz, and Tyson destroyed Wilder.
Yeah.
So I fought, you know, Tyson all day long, and I still do think Tyson. But I mean, AJ in his last couple of fights has shown a very clever boxer. He's not just we love AJ for his explosiveness and his big knockouts and his big punches and that. But I think in his last 2 fights, he's reminded us just how good his boxing IQ is, and why he got an Olympic gold medal, with so little experience, because he has got a boxing brain. So I mean, I think to myself, more interesting this fight now, because I mean, AJ goes, he knocks him out, but he is a good boxer. He has got a good brain. He's got a good boxing IQ. But I'd still have to go with Tyson.
Well, that's good to know. I just obviously want to know your opinion on that. Who's pound for pound best in the world at the minute?
I think you'd have to say Saul Alvarez.
Yeah.
To be honest with you, when you look at the people he's beaten, he's like Big Golovkin and Billy Joe Saunders. I mean, when you think how Billy Joe Saunders gave a good account of himself. Put up a good fight. He was outboxing him at times in rounds, and most people said the fight, pretty even. But it seemed that when he wanted to put his foot on the gas, he
started doing that to the crowd,
and then to do that against someone like Billy Joe, who's a mate of mine, and I have seen him firsthand in my gym, just how good he is, exceptional, undefeated 2-weight world champion. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And when you look at how Canelo ended the fight, but he had an injury, a cheekbone injury, to deal with. So it's dead easy for us to say, we don't know, because it was even at the time. So, what could have happened, we'll never know, will we? But
hopefully they'll do it again. But
I'd probably say Canelo Alvarez at the minute for the first, the number one.
Wicked. Ricky, before we let you go, just one final question and then a little 10-question shootout. The last question for you is this: what's your plans for the future? What are you wanting to achieve? Is there something you want to do? Is it all about mentoring Campbell and the rest of the fighters that you're training?
I train fighters, and I want the fighters to train. I love every one of them, because it's very you're with these kids every day of your working life. You're with them every day. It's like you love a family. You see them every day of your working life, and you see how hard they put into it, and how dedicated they are, and how much they want it, and how much they want to make for the families and make for themselves, isn't it? And I just put myself in their shoes, how I felt when I was growing up, what it means to me. You know what I mean? When I was training and thinking, if I win my next 2 fights, I might be able to get myself a car. Shit like that. So you get close to them, and giving them a chance to fulfil their dreams. And because I know what it means to them and what it means to me, it makes me dead. It makes me dead emotional. I mean, very fortunate that I've one of these boxers that I've been able to. I've looked after my money, because you see so many sad stories where boxers have lost it. I've done all right. So I mean, it's not how I make my living, the boxing. It's it's my passion, and I'm not doing it to I'm not accepting fights for them because then they need to get me lecky paid. You know what I mean? I mean, if I'm accepting fights and making a decision, it's for their best interest, and they know best interest, because there's no other issue. It's not like I've already made me money, and I think that's very reassuring. Must be very reassuring for the boxer to know that I'm there for him and him alone, not myself.
Yeah, sometimes you can tell you're passionate about it. You can tell you're very passionate about passing on what you can to them.
So I mean, if my lads, if say their Mount Everest is an English title, I'll burst me balls trying to get him there. If his Mount Everest is a European title, I'll bend over backwards to try and do, because you get close to these kids. And needless to say, I mean, I don't train Campbell, but I manage him and overlook everything, as is my son.
Yeah.
But I mean, God, how proud I am when I see my son come out to Blue Moon and seeing him progress like he is, because he's only had 20 odd amateur fights. He's an absolute novice, and seeing him progress, it's early days, but he might have half a chance. And I think to myself, God, man, just imagine if in a few years' time, if he does do it, you know what I mean? I mean, it's a long way off yet, going back to the MAN, and my son fighting for a world champion. Oh, come on.
Yeah, exactly. No, it must be amazing. Before I ask, I've just seen a picture, by the way, of Noel and Liam. What are they like? Just very quickly.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely love them to bits. I've had some great nights with
Have
them.
they been in here with you? All of that?
No, that minimum, because I mean, to be honest, they fell out, haven't they? You know, which
Yeah.
is a shame. And I'd like to hope they get back together, but they don't. You don't know any family. You don't know what's going on. So
We need a reunion, though, don't
so
we?
you stay out of it. But I mean, but I hope they get back together. And not just because I want to hear their music again. I think just because I'm pretty close to them, just for them.
Yeah, yeah.
For them and for the moment.
Peace of mind and stuff and
for
whatnot.
the family that they do it. But I mean, only they can make that decision. But I mean, when I think I've had so many times, became the best fighter in my weight division, fought the best fighter, the greatest fighter of all time. I've got an MBE and been to Buckingham.
Congratulations with the
Buckingham
MBE.
Palace, yeah. I boxed at Manchester City's football ground, 55,000 fans, what I mean? I've had Nolan and Liam carry the belts, because when I was growing up, all it was for me was boxing, Oasis and Manchester City.
Yeah.
And when you think Oasis carried the belts in, I became a world champion. And, and Liam and Noel carried me belts in, and my mates. Job done.
Yeah.
I think,
You've got a lot of boxes ticked,
as
haven't you?
as a Mancunian,
Yeah. Right, Ricky, quick 10 questions, quick fire. So just say what comes to your head. 10 questions, here we go. Number 1, what is your favourite word?
City.
What is your least favourite word?
United.
What turns you on?
A nice big pair of tits.
What turns you off?
Farts. Farts.
Yeah, fair enough, yeah. What sound do you love?
Anything to do with Oasis.
What sound do you hate?
The Belfast orders.
What is your favourite curse word?
Curse word. Tool.
Fair enough.
It's a Mancunian
Yeah,
saying.
tool.
Yeah.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Porn.
Porn, fair enough. What profession would you not like to participate in?
Be the manager of Manchester United.
Fair enough. And finally, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrived at the pearly gates?
There's only one Ricky.
Awesome. Ricky, thank you so much, my friend.
Pleasure.
That has been my interview with the fantastic Ricky Hatton, MBE. Thank you for tuning in and watching another episode. And please, if you like what you're seeing, subscribe to the channel. Ricky, thank you so much.